Hello my dear children. Hope you all are very enthusiastic to learn chemistry. Today we are going to learn about float or sink. Things are better learned when you see things, isn't it? So we are going to see things and learn things. I'm having certain things with me. I'm having a plastic spoon, a steel spoon, a bouncing ball, a leaf, green leaf, a stone, a sharpener, and also a board with me. We are going to do an experiment to see whether these things float or sink in water. Let's move on to the experiment.
Look children, we have taken some water in a vessel. Now we are going to insert the things into it. First we have taken the bouncing ball. This goes down. Then we are putting the leaf which remains over the water. Then sharpener which also remain up. Stone goes down. Then the plastic spoon remain up. Steel spoon goes down. Then board. It also remains up. Okay, I think you got it. We have seen certain things are seen above the water and some seen below the water. So what is meant by float or sink? Float means to stay above the surface of the water. We have seen certain things above the water. So those things are floating in water like green leaves, boat, etc. On the other hand, sink means to go below the surface of the water. Some things are seen below the surface like ball, stone, etc. All those things go down the water, isn't it? So these things are sinking in water. Okay, I think you got it. Now it's clear that some things float and some things sink in water. See, in your smaller classes, you have learned the story of the ant and dove. Do you remember? It was a wonderful story, isn't it? And in this story, you are learning how to help each other. In this story, ant was saved by the dove by plucking a leaf and giving it to him. And why does this leaf help the life of the ant? It is because the leaf float on water, isn't it? So you are very familiar with this term float, but you didn't identify that it is because it float on water. Instead of leaf, if he used stone, it won't be working. So it is float on water which was used by the dove to save the ant. So it is clear to you. Now let's see, why do things float in water? It is all because of density. The more mass and less air an object has, the more dense it is. What is meant by mass? Mass means weight. Weight of an object. When the weight increases, it becomes more dense. And the substances with less density float in water and the substance with more density sink in water. When there is more weight or more mass, it is more denser, so it will be sinking in water. So what is density? An object's mass per unit volume. Mass, already I have told you, mass means weight. So mass means weight of the object. On the other hand, what is meant by volume? Volume is a familiar term to you, even though I will tell you what is volume. Volume means the space occupied by an object. The space occupied by object. It can be said like size, shape, etc. can be used to identify the volume of the object. Now let's take an example. An iron block and a plastic block of same size we are taking. So say equal volume of an iron block as well as plastic block we are taking. Which is having more weight, iron block or plastic block? Of course, iron block. Iron block is having more mass. As it is having more mass, it will be having more density than plastic. So when the mass increases, the density is increasing. Okay, so the more dense things will be sinking in water. When it is less dense, it will be floating on water. The density should be less than water, then only it will be floating on water. Okay, now if we are taking same object of equal mass but of different size or different volume, what will happen? See, we are taking the case of a steel block. If you are taking a steel block of and a steel ship, both are made up of equal mass. A solid block of steel will sink in water, whereas a steel ship with same mass float on the surface. Why? They are having equal mass. So we expect same density. But it is not so. It is because they differ in their volume. The space occupied by them is different. The steel block is taking very small space. So it is having less volume. So the density also is more. On the other hand, ship is having large volume. It is having large size. So it is having more volume. When volume increases, density is decreasing. As a result, the ship will be having less density. And when it is having less density, there is a greater chance for it to float on water. When the density is very low than the water, it will be floating on water. That is why ship, even though it's made up of steel or iron, which is heavy, float on water. Okay, not only this volume, it is actually because of its shape. And you will be learning something more like some buoyant force and all in your higher classes. Then you will be understanding a little more better about the floating of ship. Even though I think it's clear to you, it is because it is having a large volume. And not only this large volume, there is something like there is air trapped inside the ships. Okay, and what about the density of air? Air is lighter than water. Air is lighter than water. That is, its density is less. That is why air always float on water. Air always float on water. It is because it is having less density. If you are taking a bottle and filling a small quantity of water, the rest of the portion will be filled with air. And if you are inserting the bottle into water, what will happen? You can see the picture over here. See, the portion which is having air will be floating on the water, and the portion with water will be sinking in water. It is because the portion having air is having less density. Air is lighter than water, so it will be floating on water. So it is seen above water. And the portion having water, what is the case of it? In such a situation, it will be having the weight of water as well as that of plastic. So it will be feeling more weight, so it will be sinking in water. So we can see a single object itself, half portion is above water and half portion is below water. Same thing is happening in the case of ship also. Ship is having a shape in such a way that it will be trapping more air inside it, so that it will be feeling more less weight. As a result, there is more tendency for floating. And you may be knowing that sometimes if there is any crack in the ship and water rushes into this ship, it may sink. Why is it so? It is because when water is getting into it, it starts experiencing more weight. So when the weight increase and it reaches the weight more than the water's weight or the more density of water, it sink into water. That is what happened in the case of gigantic ship Titanic. It hit an iceberg and thus started a crack in that ship, and the water started rushing into it, filling the ship. When the ship was filled with water, what happened? Its weight increased. Even it was having a lot of people whose weight was already there. Along with that, the weight of the water also came over there. As a result, it started sinking into the water. So the ship sank. Okay, I think it's clear to you. Okay, now what about ice? You all know if you are putting an ice cube into water, it will be floating on water. It does not go down. We feel like it's going down. First it will go down, then it will come back and will be floating on water. Isn't it? When you have a chilled juice and all, or lemon juice or lemonade or something like that, if you put an ice cube into it, what you will be seeing? You see the ice cube float on water. Why? It is because ice is lighter than water, or it is having less density than water. See, water and ice both are made up of water itself, same substance, so same mass. So how comes it is having less density? It is because when water cools, it expands. Its volume increases. The space needed for it to occupy increases. As a result, its density decreases. So, it floats on water. I think it's clear to you. Okay, so that is why certain things float on water and certain things sink in water. So the reason lies behind the density of the object. I think it's clear to you. Now you are having an activity to do at home. What is the activity? Take 2 glasses of water, dissolve 3 spoonfuls of salt in 1 glass. Now check whether an egg float or sink in these 2 glasses of water. You are having 2 glasses of water. One is pure water and the other having salt dissolved in it. So you are having salt solution as well as pure water. Then you have to check the floating or sinking of egg in both the glasses of water. In both water, that is pure water as well as salt solution. Okay, you have to check it and also try to find out the reason for it. We will be discussing the answer of this question in the next class. So wait for the next class. See you.